Genevieve over here at Bergstrom Lexus in Appleton. We just got in our first 2017 GX 460, and this one is the premium package with the captain's chairs. It's something everyone's been asking about for years, and the GX finally has it. So here we go. So this is the first one we've got in. It is in Starfire Pearl, and it has a sepia leather interior, and it still has that same, the hourglass front grille, a little bit of a different design in the front grille than the 2017. A little more spaces through these bars that are right here. Still the LED wrapped lighting, the layout in the headlights is a little bit different. You kind of have this little extra line kind of coming up over here for just for styling. But then you have your main headlights, your daytime running lights. It also has the fog lights and this little kind of black outline all around the fog lights. Those little dots right there are your parking sensors. You got those on the left and right side of the car. Let's kind of move around it here. These are the wheels that come on the premium package of the vehicle. It's got the body side molding at the bottom, running boards, turn signals in your side view mirror. And then here in the back, the back looks really similar to how it did in 2016. It still has the LED lighting, and then you can kind of see it, those little 4 dots right there, those are the parking sensors. And the GX still opens up like a door here. There's this little handle, and you just pull it open like that. And I'll show you in the back here before I show you the window on the outside. It comes with these little cargo envelopes. The carpet mats are right here in this plastic, and I think the all-weather mats are what's in the vehicle right now. But you got 2 sets of mats. This all-weather cargo mat back here. You also have a carpet cargo mat. It also comes with carpet mats, and then of course all-weather rubber mats also for the whole car. This car does have the 3rd row. It's just underneath all of this stuff. You just manually lift them up just like you did in the 16. There is a version of the car that has a power folding 3rd row. And so you don't have to open up the door with that little handle every time you want to put something in. There is this little button that's right here. And when you push it, it pops open this back window. None of that is done by power. It just pops it unlocked, and then you lift it open. And then you're able to get stuff inside of it. And then you just reach up and close it. And then it just locks itself back again. And then over here, kind of move around the side. Evening time here, so you can actually kind of get a nice pretty sunshine on the car that's not blinding me like it usually is when I'm outside doing this. And then I'll jump right into the back. Like I mentioned, this car's got the sepia leather interior, but it is also with the captain's chairs. So let me kind of get in here so you can kind of see. It's really similar to how the seat looks when it's just the whole entire 2nd row. It still has the little lever here that would let the seat recline, and also flip it forward so that you could get back to that 3rd row if you ever have anyone sit back there. So I'll kind of move in here. So you've got like this little space in the middle that would allow you to go back into the back. And then each of the chairs have armrests on them. And then you can see they've got these little cup holders here that just flip out on the sides. And they both have that seatbelt control. So yeah, that's been something that people have been asking about for a really, really long time in the GX, and so finally it is here. And so yeah, that would be enough room for you to be able to walk back through if you needed to get into the 3rd row, or just get into the back seat for some reason, or the back area. And then again, this is what the sepia leather interior looks like. This car actually still has a lot of plastic on it, especially on the outside too, because we just literally got it in and it's sold, and I knew if I didn't make this video, the car would just go out and you guys would never get to see it. So here is the driver's seats. This is heated and air conditioned seats as well, so you can kind of see there's ventilation in the seats, and that's actually where the air conditioned air blows through that. Other than the captain's chairs, the inside of the car and the outside, really, besides the grille, looks really, really similar to the 2016 model. So you still have, I'll kind of show you some of the options now, memory seating right here. It keeps memory of your seat, your steering wheel, and your side view mirrors for 2 different drivers. 1 touch open close for all your windows, unlock and lock for the whole car. That button locks out power to everybody's window except for yours, so if you had kids or something in the car and you don't want them messing with anything. Hop in here. Over here is your gas tank control, the power headlight washers, and then the ability to turn off the traction control. Up here are your side view mirror adjustments. And then this is the intensity button for the instrument panel, and then the button to flip back and forth from your odometer to your trip odometer. On the steering wheel, like I said, it's very similar in layout to how the 2016 was. You still have your audio controls on the left side of the steering wheel. Mode lets you jump from AM to FM to satellite. On the right side, you have your Bluetooth controls. This little button here that allows you to access different information right here in your instrument panel. Since I pushed it, might as well just show you guys what's in there. So this is where you turn off and on the parking sensors. It also allows you to turn off and on your blind spot monitor. And the blind spot monitor is, if you can see it, I don't know if it's, oh, there you go. It's the little orange light that I've got lightened up, lightened up, that lights up there in the side view mirror. And it does that on the left and right side of the car when anybody's in the blind spot. And then you also have the ability to put the car in second start. What second start is, it's kind of like a snow mode, or if you have an older Lexus car that has a button on it that says ECT snow, that's kind of what this button is too. It starts the car in second gear and then from a stop, and then slows your acceleration down on the remaining gears. So most of the SUVs have that feature on it. So I was changing all of that just by pushing that little button and then using this up and down enter button here. This is the voice command button for the car that you can use for the navigation system, your cell phone, climate controls, radio controls. Basically, there's 3 ways to do everything in the car: by buttons, by voice, or by using the touchscreen in the nav. And so the GX is one of the few Lexus cars left that still have the touchscreen. You know, and I kind of like it both ways. It's easy to use with the mouse, but it's also really, really easy to use with the touchscreen as well. So you still have your audio control buttons over here, where if the radio was on, I'll just turn it on right now.
Restrictions apply. See cellcom.com.
You can have your radio screen up here, and then again, this is all touchscreen. And then, of course, if you've got the navigation system on, you've got your map right here. When you put the car in reverse, it will have the backup camera, and there's lines on the camera, so you can kind of tell your distance and how far you are. You also have the option to have your climate controls showing up here, and if you like I said, you can do everything 3 different ways, and if you really like using the mouse, you can do that. Or not the mouse. If you like using the touchscreen, you can do that. What's new in this car is this little button here called the home screen. Most of the time the button says map, and it just takes you to a screen that's the map. But what they've done now is they've added this home screen, and they've done this in the past couple of years in a few different models, and that's to allow you to have a main screen here that has things on it that you look at often. A lot of times we just keep it in a 2-screen layout, and we keep navigation on one side and the radio on the other. That's always how I flip it for people when I'm delivering their cars, just because I figured those are kind of the 2 main things that you end up looking at all the time. And so what's cool about the home screen then is if you wanted the nav big, you just touch the nav side and it makes the nav screen big. And if you wanted the radio side big on the screen, you just touch that and it makes that side big. And then otherwise you can always hit home and it takes you back. This phone button right here just takes you to the screen that would allow you to access your cell phone, but obviously we don't have a phone paired up to the car, so it's just gonna take us to this intro screen. If you don't know how to hook your phone up from here, send me a message and I've got some videos about that I can send you. This info apps button just shows you some of the other options that you can access through the navigation screen. Lexus App Suite is kind of it's actually not going to show us anything when I click on this here, but there's a few different kinds of apps that you can access through the car. Certain things from Facebook, Pandora, iHeartRadio, movietickets.com, OpenTable, all kinds of these cool apps that you can access right in the vehicle while you're driving. Otherwise, though, it shows you fuel consumption in 5-minute intervals, how much fuel you're using. And then traffic incidents, it's most likely not going to come up right now, but this would tell you if there's traffic incidents around you on the road, and it would actually reroute you if there were. It would even tell you what kind of construction and stuff is being done. Weather, I don't think any of this stuff is actually going to come in. But normally when the cars are already ready to go and hooked up, you can actually see the current weather where you live. You can actually check different locations for the weather, see forecasts and those kinds of things. Lexus Insider is a magazine that Lexus used to send out, an actual paper magazine, and then they started doing it where they could send kind of new articles that pertain to your car right to the car. So that's what that is, and the car will notify you if there's ever any new messages that it wants you to read from Lexus Insider. The other button over here is the setup button, and this just kind of takes you through just some of the some of the things that you can actually adjust. If there's, you know, certain features of the car that you want to be able to change, like the clock or the language, you can do that. If you need to change the volume of any of the voice things, the voice guidance, the volume of your phone, how it talks back to you, you can change all of that kind of stuff right here in the voice tab. Bluetooth, just another kind of way to go and set up your phone, versus pushing the pickup button right here on your steering wheel. Audio, this is again just letting you set up things with the audio. You can change the number of presets, you can change the cover art of music that shows up on the screen. There's so much stuff that you can do. And then just, you know, setting up things with navigation, putting things in memory, taking things out. Maintenance, the car will notify you about maintenance intervals. Right now it's set to remind you for oil changes and tire rotations, but you could actually make the car remind you about anything. Like if you like to change your brakes every 40,000 miles, you could actually type that in and it'll start counting down and then notify you when you get close to that. Vehicle customization is if you wanted to change anything in the car. Chances are if there's something that bugs you electronically, you can change it. Like one of the main things that we always change in the car, and I do anyway, is the door lock setting. Right now, this is kind of one of the most common things. Right now when you touch the car because of the smart key, all of the doors unlock. That is actually something that's very easy to change to just the driver door. So if you are really the only driver of the car and it's just mostly you in the car, you can actually set it to where when you touch the door, just the driver door unlocks. And then that way you'd actually have to let everybody else in. So if you're, by yourself in the car, that's just a little bit of extra safety. So that's just kind of wanted to run through a lot of the buttons. I didn't actually mean to take so long with that. If you have more questions about the nav, I'm more than happy to answer anything you've got. This bottom part right here is the climate controls. Just like in most of the cars, set it to auto, pulls up a temperature right here and actually up on the nav screen. And you can just set the temperature to whatever you want in auto and the car will just increase and decrease on its own. When you're on the climate screen, you could actually then manually adjust the fan speeds as well, but then it kicks you out of auto mode because manual adjustment, auto mode has a mind of its own and it wants to do what it wants to do. So if you start messing with things, it kicks you out of auto mode. Then right here is your radio controls. In the older versions, there was like this little thing that you kind of push down to see where the radio controls were, and they got rid of that. And your CD player is right here, skipping up and down to the next track or radio station, turning the system off and on, dialing into the radio station right there. They still have this little drawer here that just kind of pushes open like this, and then inside of here are your USB and auxiliary plugs, and then another 120 volt plug for like a cell phone charger and those kinds of things. Your shifter here, the crawl control, where it's a downhill assist, where if you flip this on, if you live in a place that has like mountains in it, like Colorado or something like that, where you might be driving down a really steep mountain range and like riding your brakes the whole time, if you have this flip to on, it actually powers the car for you, kind of in steps, like if you pick that up. And so just some little steps like that, and all you do is steer, and it kind of powers the car between like 8 and 10 miles an hour, and it's using the engine and those kind of little steps to keep the car slow so you don't ride on the brake the whole time. This is actually the lever that you use to switch the car into four-wheel drive. In the older versions, it was actually its own shifter like this, but in the newer versions, it's just this little flippy switch. So it's always in high, so that when it switches to four-wheel drive you're in the right mode, but you could always put it into low if you needed to tow something. And these cars can tow 6,500 pounds. Still cup holders in here, still the same kind of key, the smart key like it had before. These are the armrest here, and there's these little tabs that kind of right here that slide out, and then you can slide them out to make the armrest longer. And then there's another big latch right here, you can lift it up, and then you've got just a little extra storage and all that kind of stuff. Of course, it still has a moonroof. It still has, of course, your moonroof controls. And then the SOS button, that is like Lexus's version of OnStar. And then these are interior light adjustments. This is actually a mirror. I don't know if I can peel that off. This is a mirror that lets you look behind the car, like in the back seats. And then if you pull it a little harder, it is a cup holder. Or excuse me, sunglass holder, not cup holder. It's been a long day. So that's the GX. That's everything here on the 2017 that's new. If you got any questions or want to see anything else, just let me know. I'm happy to help you guys. Take care.